This is a follow-up video on some things I spoke about last week in regards to 3D designing. Well, let's put it this way. 2 years ago, and I'm ashamed to say this, but 2 years ago, my friend Max, well, online friend Max, I have a lot of friends I've never met. I took him on my friend Larry, never met him. A lot of other friends, never met. Max, you know, a fellow Power Ranger fan, and he reached out to me 2 years ago and said, I have this morpher, this changer, and I want to make it something I can fit. And he says, I see you design stuff in 3D and printing. Can you do something for me? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. This is right around the time that I started this channel and around the time the pandemic hit. So he sent it to me and I got it. And I farted around a little bit 3D, Fusion 360. And well, let's put it this way. It takes a long time to learn. I've learned that very, very easily myself now. It takes a whole lot longer to start taking it out of here to here. But in that vein, I now have this. Greetings, Dave here, DCPFX. I want to talk more about this piece that I designed for Max. Now, this is not the final video because this doesn't work yet, but not like it's ever going to work, it's a toy, but it's not quite ready yet. But I want to show off. This is something I've designed, and I've gone through 4 different designs on this piece here to get it right. And as I said last week, I screwed up because I was doing it upside down. I had this piece here upside down, so that hammers like that, that's not comfortable. So that's quite right. Now, I'm not massive, I'm not small, I'm sort of, well, I guess I'm big, but I'm not huge. I have decent sized hands. I have maybe a large to extra large, and Max is about the same way. So this is, I think, is going to work out really well for him. So this is part of the show. Here, it looks like this. I made it a little bit bigger, a little bit different than in the show because the way that they had it attached in the show was more further up here. And I have some mounting spots underneath here that it's mounted into that's I had to sort of work on the fly to make it work so it'll work for me and for Max. But this is pretty cool. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is it's pretty funny. I've spent 2 years working on this. I threw it up on Instagram saying, here's a handle I'm working on for this morpher. And someone said, dude, well, maybe it didn't say dude, but I've been wanting to do that forever. I just need to find someone to sell me the files. And I said, well, let me work on it and I'll let you know. So here it is here. Actually, let me just take it off my wrist so I can show it a little better. So this is the piece I made, this piece here. In here, it's bondoed. I had to make a channel for the wires to come down. So the switch, which I just cut off of the toy, and then soldered it in here. I run it down through this channel here, down into here. Eventually, I'm going to solder it onto these wires here, and it will work. I've got a video right here. So there it is working, and well, working per se. You can do the various things. So if you hit the button once, it makes a noise, and this will light up. And then if you hold it, it makes a different noise. And this sucker is solid. The last thing I had to do was design a holder for it. I made something that looks like that with the button that goes through, and I had to go through iteration under iteration in order to make it so the button is just the right thing, because I'm dealing with inside tolerances and outside tolerances, and I'm new to this 3D design stuff, so it took me a little while to get there. But when I got it on and I was able to do this, you know, and Max was just, oh my God, that's amazing. That's awesome. So all that's left now is a little bit of spit and polish there, because this was on the bottom. This needs a little bit of fill. I'm just gonna take this in the office tomorrow, or I guess at this point today, fill it with some resin, cure it, and then I'll have a good thing to just fill that out so it looks better. This thing is so darn close to being done. All I need to do once that's done, I'm gonna resin this in as well. Because this is Bondo, I don't want it chipped away, so I'll give it a good coat of resin on top, so that'll give it a nice solid top for it. Once I'm done that, coat of black paint. I've already got the button painted red, so, and then just glue that with the button on here and solder the things. And I've also made a plate. This is just foam here right now. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's foam with a couple of screws going through, I've actually made a plate the correct size here with some screw holes. The holes for this were large because there's mounting pieces coming through, and the way that they did it in the toy, which different type of plastic, had just small bits of sort of shims embedded in the plastic to hold it on. That's not going to work. This stuff is going to just tear through. So I made a good thick piece that's going to screw on. So it's basically the whole plate going on top of this is going to be a huge washer. Hold it all. It's going to be awesome. I think by the time Max gets this, he's going to be able to show off. And the nice thing about this is because you're dealing with a Sentai show, it's not even on Power Rangers yet, if it ever makes it. And two, it's something that it's civilian, right? You can just do it and walk around with this on you. And if you're at a Comic-Con, only the dude, you know, I've done it at various shows and I'm like, dude, I remember once I made a shirt. I used to have a Spreadshirt shop. I still do, I just don't use it. I made one with, it had the TARDIS, and it said, one of them said, the angels have the phone box from Blink. Another one said TARDIS Express, when you used to get there before you sent it. And someone, a friend of mine bought one, well, an acquaintance of mine bought one and was wearing it in the UK. And this was back when I was on, I guess, Ranger Board in the RPF. And he was wearing it around the UK, and someone saw it and went, and then I put pictures up online. I was wondering where he got that from. I said, here's a link to my shop. So anyway, there's an insular community that we all know each other and what's going on. We're all like in the know. I knew that. I went to a party once and I had a Kamen Rider Kabuto Zactor on. It just was the wrist mounted. It was the B, and one guy went, dude. And that's kind of fun. So anyway, this will be something cool for Max to take out and about for himself. And I'm glad it's done. I do feel bad it took 2 years, but to learn this in my spare time while I'm doing everything else, sometimes it can take that. And plus, you know, pandemic, what are you gonna do? So anyway, that is an update on this. This turned out really well. I'm really happy with it. Even the mounting of the Switch, it's solid, it's not going anywhere. And then the piece on top, and it was, like I said in my previous video, is a come to Jesus moment where I basically said, oh, I can do this. Which is funny when I look at the build of it and the 3D file. Most of these things when you do them have 6, 7, 10, 12 sketches. I have 225 sketches as I tried this and tried this and tried this and this and this and this. The file is huge. But that's me learning, which is great. So that's the video for today. Hope everyone's having a great day. We'll talk to you all later.